everybody, it's Gypsy, and welcome to On the Edge of Appalachia. Oh boy, I've got my work cut out for me today. So, yesterday I showed you guys that I had damage, that something has been attacking my garden. So, I ran all the information through AI with photos and stuff. And, because I did not see hooves or any scat or anything like that, it was, a little, difficult to tell. But, based on where I live, AI said that if it's not deer, which, I don't know, it's hard to tell. What it said, which is something I never knew, is that when deer eat something, it's always a very jagged bite because they don't have top teeth. They only have bottom front teeth. I didn't know that. So, as you can see, my poor sunflower here took a really bad hit. Anyways, it said it could be groundhogs. And I was like, how can a groundhog get up that high? And it said when a groundhog rears up, it can reach like 5 to 6 feet. I was shocked. Anyways, so, my usual Molmax, it works on all rodents, including groundhogs. I coated this entire garden all over, and I have a lot of garden, okay? And I just coated it. It is drenched in castor oil. And I wake up this morning to more of my beans gone. Another sunflower gone, etc. So, my plan for the day is before the store opens, I'm going to start preparing a bed for my fall peas. Actually, I have to do a few. I'm planting even more peas now than I did in spring. So I have to prepare soil and I have to make trellises. So when I go to the store to get what I need for the trellises, I'm going to talk to somebody there about this issue. I really don't have the time or the finances to create a fence at this moment, maybe next spring. And I don't know, nearing the end of the season, it's almost like, why bother? They have not touched my pumpkins. I know the vines and the leaves are very prickly. And maybe they can't bite through a pumpkin. I hope not. Because pumpkins are like my prized crop. It's my favorite. Anyways, I'm going to do that. See if they have any suggestions for like deer repellent. And, and one of the things that hinted to me that, look at this my poor rattlesnake bean. It probably wasn't a groundhog, but I'd give it a try anyways. AI said groundhogs do not care for other animals, especially wild, but they don't like domestic either, including your dog and cats. So I have a large dog. Our tenants, our neighbors, have 2 large dogs, and I have 3 cats wandering around. My cats are outside, typically at night. So I'm like, well, that's not deterring it. So it is deer, which a viewer did say, by the looks, by the height and everything, it's got to be deer. So I am going to go to the store, take care of that, and get stuff to make trellises for my peas today. So that is where I am at now. I do know that they do have stuff at the store, which I do hope is safe and organic. Is a repellent for deer. Because here in Northeast Ohio, I think we have more deer than we have people. I think rut season should be extended and all the limitations need to be put off, because I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but when you mess with the natural order of things, you end up with, well, like overpopulation of one species or another. And yes, I know people are going to say it's people. I don't agree anymore. There was a time I did. However, things have progressed. I'm going to be 61 real soon. I was born in the last year of the baby boomer, so I'm sorry. I don't understand how the population could not have decreased. So, like, it doesn't make sense to me. My cousins tried to explain it with some fancy mathematical equation. Sorry, you're not convincing me, because there's nothing complicated about it. So anyways, here in Ohio, we have rut season. And it is a short period of time. Now, I believe my son told me you can hunt on your own property at any time. Rut season is more for like if you go someplace else. I might have that boy sit out here. I'm sorry, guys. I might have him sit out here because I'm old-fashioned like that, okay? I love animals, but I love people too. People need to survive. People need to eat. And, you know, some people do good on a vegetarian diet or a vegan diet, and some people don't, because we're individuals. And, you know, I tried vegetarian, I tried vegan, I got sicker. You know, I'm sorry. It's just the way I feel. And yeah, I am upset about my garden. I work hard on it. But my garden, for me, it feeds my family. And I'm trying to get it to the point where it's a decent income, too. So this is frustrating for me. And I do love deer. I love all animals. I do. But I also believe that there is a cycle on Earth. Gaia has an ebb and flow, a cycle, a food chain, just like the entire universe does. So I do believe in being humane about it. I do not like the way the big agriculture slaughters. I think for that, when you're talking about them, slaughter is an appropriate word. They are heartless and disgusting. And, yeah. People these days, and I don't know how I got off on this tangent. I think it's just my mood with coming out here and seeing more of my food destroyed. And the thing is, I let them have the crab apples. There are berries. I mean, where I live, it's woods. I mean, there's just woods all over the place. In fact, the area I live in, especially when we had this interurban line back in the last century, this area was called the jungle because the woods are so thick. Now, these woods are after being developed, but they have plenty of food. There is no reason for them to come here. And I know people say have a garden for them. You know, plant extra for them. And I try. But, you know, there's 4 in our family, and I would like to get to the point of this bringing in some income for us. And I am not there yet, so it's very, it's aggravating. I'm sorry, I'm very, you know, my grandparents had a farm and stuff, so maybe I think differently than city folks do. And I was raised in the city, but my dad was a farm boy, so I kind of have that attitude. You know, I'm not one of those people who only loves animals. I love people too. and I do think about their welfare. And here in Ohio, I swear we have more deer than we have people. I remember there was a time you never ever saw deer in the city. Now, to me, the suburbs, they're the city. My dad came home from work one day when I was a kid. I was a teenager, I think, and he said, "You guys aren't going to believe it. I'm driving home from work and a deer crossed in front of my car." Now, growing up, that would have been normal for him. But in a city, it's not, or it wasn't. So it was very shocking. So when wildlife starts hanging out in the city, especially big wildlife, you know there's an overpopulation. So, yeah, you guys can say whatever you want. I don't buy into the rhetoric. Okay? So, you want to think I'm wrong, that's fine. You have the right. You have the right to disagree with me. I have the right to my own opinion. We can discuss this if you could do it maturely without being rude. Anyways, that's the way I feel about that. And no, I would never start killing any animal haphazardly, needlessly, okay? I once told my son when he was younger, when you make a kill, you make it, try to make it clean so there's no suffering, and you give gratitude to the spirit of the animal, just as you do when, you go foraging, okay? You always give gratitude because there is a spiritual contract between you and that plant or you and that animal. This goes on between people too. So, always give gratitude, and you make sure no part of that animal's physical being goes to waste after you give gratitude. That is the way I feel, and it is, I guess, from what I hear, in line with Native American practice. For me, it makes sense. There is contracts we have, including the animal kingdom. Yes, contracts, spiritual contracts with the spirits of other animals. And that's how species go on and survive. So look at my babies. We have Rhiannon over here, and then Sirius and Draco's over there. I think Persephone decided to stay in this morning. So anyways, I also have some deadheading to do, it looks like, and stuff like that. Now that I'm off of my rant, people have a very narrow-minded view, and I think misunderstanding of spirituality and spiritual growth and advancement. I really believe that. Because I hear people in the spiritual community talk, and when I say spiritual community, I'm not talking about organized religions. I don't hear them talk about it that much. It's the spiritual community. And I will hear people say stupid shit that doesn't make any sense to me. Because I really feel, and yes, this is my own opinion, that this is the way things are. It's the way they were meant to be. And when I say the way they are, I mean at this point in time. It can, will, and does change. I feel it is. It is changing. But as of right now, I think we still have these contracts. People need to survive. People need to eat. And I think with the ascension, that's changing. But in the meantime, we have to go easier on ourselves and others. So, it's like, it's a hard thing. Because, those deer, they come here and they eat from those apple trees. And I sit there and I watch them and I think how beautiful they are. My dog begs them to come and play with them. But they do wreak havoc on your food. You're trying to grow food. And, they're eating it. And, I had the voles eating it. So it's like, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, but we'll have another black-eyed Susan coming up. Little boy next door, he came over, had some big black-eyed Susans, and he picked a couple for his mom. It was so adorable. He's about 3 years old, the cutest thing. And his father was like, oh, I hope you... I said, no, I played this stuff for everyone to enjoy. Let them pick them. They'll come back. I wasn't expecting them to come back till next year, but I got them coming back now. That is the way I feel about that. And it's strange because when I think about my parents, we had two opposing views. My mom was a city girl. My dad grew up on a farm. And he used to, he hunted. He trapped, is what he always said. He trapped whatever animal. And it's like, my mom was very like, no hunting, no guns, no this, no that. That's what grocery stores are for. At the time, we did not realize that what the grocery stores were really for is, for them to control our food source. And they put poisons in our food. I think they started when I was a child. Because I was talking to a younger woman recently. And I said, it makes me angry. Because she was telling me her list of ailments at her age. I'm old enough to be her mother. They were more than mine. Mine are, like body wearing out kind of stuff. Hers were like illnesses that no young person should have. And I said, I am so angry about what they have done to us. And there is no reason our young people like you should be that sick. So we have to decide. Are we going to let them feed us, or are we going to feed ourselves? Are we going to respect the spiritual contracts that we made before coming into these lives with other spirits? It's like, I don't understand. Here's how now this is my belief. I don't expect others to believe it. We reincarnate. We can come back as other creatures other than humans. Okay? So you could come back as an animal. So a lot of these animals who have contracts with humans and with other animals, because the food chain, the circle of life, encompasses all living beings. So any animal that you might be consuming or using in some manner may have been a human in another life. Now, when we're in the spirit realm, there is no, I don't think, a greater or lesser consciousness. There is no hierarchy or, who's better at this, that, or the other, okay? We're more focused on the one. But we make these contracts that I can't say I'm always happy about, because they're painful when we're alive. Now, I don't want to say alive when we're incarnated, because we're alive after our body dies too. So we have these things, like, I was just thinking, so if every species, sorry about the traffic, everybody's going to work. If every species decided that they weren't going to eat meat, first of all, you'd have to wait until that species evolves to the point where their body doesn't survive on meat. You'd have to wonder what they would eat. Now, here's another thing. These beautiful plants, guess what? They have consciousness. Now, while a plant, an incarnated, their level of consciousness is not the level at like a mammal would be, but they still have consciousness and awareness, just not as high as ours. So then would we have to evolve to the point where we don't eat plants either? So can and will our bodies evolve to the point that we don't need food at all? Now, I did hear, not sure how I feel about this or what I believe, that the human body will evolve to the point where it does not need food as energy. I don't know, but I have a feeling, well, that would be far off in the distance. So I don't know. Just a farmer's granddaughter talking. It was a little bit woo-woo. So anyways, I don't know. I had no intention of talking about this, and somehow I got off on it. So I guess I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.